Hi, and welcome to Lead Generation and Referral Partner Training. I'm so excited to host this training for you and really get you some framework to succeed this year and really leverage the people that you know and people that you don't know in a way that's going to be meaningful for your business. So I've got a whole gamut of things for us to go through today, and I want to set the stage and let you know that this is a system that you can simply implement in 15 to 30 minutes each and every time you dive in. So say you've got 2 to 3 times per week, 15 minutes you can plug in and give this system a go. So it's not like you've got to have hours and hours of time to do this. It is more successful when you as the business owner dive in. Like we don't want to pitch this off to a VA or someone right away before we have a really strong track record of success for setting appointments and making sure that we are connecting with our ideal client. So let's go through this. So first, I just want to give you some framework for why referral partnerships matter the most. I know that most of the time when I connect with a business owner, realtor, fitness professional, I'm like, how did you get your last best client? And it's often a referral, which I think is awesome. 82% of business comes from referrals and word of mouth, which I think is phenomenal. And for most people, they're reactive referrals. Someone was having a conversation at lunch and their results came up based on your work together and they introduced you, which is awesome. We want that to continue to happen. Now, we also want to make sure we're creating what we call proactive referrals within our networks too. Proactive referral is when we are going out to make the introduction ourselves. We're going out to a community member, we're going out to a synergistic business, and we are actually making that introduction. And you'll see me pop back from two screens here because I'm doing this on Zoom and on StreamYard. So I've got a virtual background in one and not a virtual background in the other. So this is awesome. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, so referrals are huge, but what we find is we're not taking enough initiative in the driver's seat to create those referrals for our business. So first, we want to make sure that we're not subscribing to not having enough time because like I said, we've got 15 to 30 minutes to implement this and that we're being most effective. And the way that we're going to be most effective is really leaning into who we're going to connect with. So that's what I'd like you to do first. Identify who are your ideal referral partners. So take some time, jot those down. If you do some type of, fitness modality that's special, like for example, you help people get out of pain, then you could certainly work with more of a medical type referral partner network. And if you work with, athletes, you could certainly work with a more coach and organization based referral network. So write those down, spend some time on that, and get that set for yourself. And I am going to share a tool with you. This will be linked in the recording, and I'll make sure it's linked in the post here too on LinkedIn. But it's really just a way for you to track these people. So you'll get a spreadsheet that's got two different sections. The first section is groups. So when we're thinking about referral partners, who are these groups that we can go after? They could be, if you've already, engaged in some professional services, it could be like your BNI group, it could be your local chamber of commerce, it could be a Facebook group. It could be a LinkedIn group. It could be a parent teacher association. So I would recommend writing down like 3 to 5 groups of people that maybe it's not a warm introduction yet, because they don't know you, but someone that you'd like to get ingrained with within your community, within your niche. It can certainly be online community. Like in my world, I have an online business where we do see people in person, but usually we're making the first connection online. So I need to be making sure I'm showing up in those groups in those places online that our ideal clients are hanging out. So first step is writing some groups where you'd find those individuals. And then second step is go ahead and jot down who those specific individuals are that you already know. Could be a client, could be um, a local business that you want to get in touch with. And when I think about referrals from clients, you probably are working with people that have more leverage in their networks than other people. Like for example, if your client is a business owner and that's a service-based business, like say they have a cleaning company, anything that's service-based where they have a lot of clients, that person is going to be much more of an advocate for your business than someone who is retired, per se. Like they could certainly introduce you to their friends and family, but if you got someone who's seeing hundreds of people each and every week, that's a great way to lean into that relationship and, give them a gift card, let them give that out for you and really be your advocate within their community. So awesome. So jot those down. And again, I'm going to give you a full framework. I'll share what this looks like here, but I'll give you a full framework to track your referral partner relationships. And I don't know if this is coming up on StreamYard or not. But this is our outbound list. So what we're going to do with the outbound list is take those groups and you're going to link your groups in here within that outbound list and then put your notes in your next step. So if you're already part of the group, what is your next step to introduce your business via sponsorship, via speaking opportunity. And if you have not met these groups yet, just write some notes on why they're good for you to connect with and then jot down some next steps for you to go ahead and reach out. And again, this will all be linked up in the recording. Just wanted to give you some context on how to track these relationships that we are jotting down. So next, let's really think about what we're going to say, right? Like what are we going to reach out to these individuals and say? If you're looking to drive more fitness business relationships, then you could be asking them if they've got, any goals for the new year and you'd love to help them out on a trial basis so they could give you your feedback on their services. If it's like speaking you're looking to do and they are professionals in the community, it could be if they know of any meeting planners or know of any trade shows coming up that you could potentially be a part of. So really write down what that message is and what you're going to say to your referral partner folks. And then before we start to reach out, you really want to look at, what is that relationship and how you can make it a win-win. The example of the fitness service where I said, "Hey, do you have any goals and would you like to experience our services?" It's a win-win because if they do have goals, you're going to be able to help them out at a way that they don't have to spend a bunch of money on the front end, and then they're going to think of you when they think of fitness. Now, if it's more of like you're trying to do some professional networking and work with them for a speaking opportunity, then we're really going to want to lean into how what you speak on adds value to their network and to their people. So I know in the health and fitness space, if you're going to plug into like a professional community, usually touching on like stress, nutrition, things that aren't workout based right away are a really good way to start and then talk about how that'll serve that community. So if you meet someone that I know, like here in Phoenix, there are a lot of professional organizations that have like an association for a certain trade, like safety, like plumbing. There are hundreds of them. And if your content is around like blue collar people with back pain, that's a really good way to show up with a win-win opportunity for that group. So again, dive in, get those referral partners written down. I would recommend to do at least 10 individuals that you want to reach out to, and then 3 to 5 organizations where you're obviously still going to have to reach out to an individual, but you're also going to do some research on the organization. So that's a great place to start there. And now a couple things we want to think about when we run into some obstacles during our week as we reach out to folks, right? I mentioned at the beginning of the training that this is going to take us like 15 to 30 minutes every time we plug in. So if we can set aside 15 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 days a week, it's just like asking a client to track their nutrition, to make sure they're drinking enough water. Like it's no different than that. We're just asking you to really carve in some time in your work week to work on reaching out to partners in your community. And if you think about like, oh, I don't know anyone in my community, well, I gave you some good examples with a BNI group, Chamber of Commerce, LinkedIn group, Facebook group. There are probably other professional networking groups in your community. There could even be like a small business mentoring program at the community colleges or even the universities. So just really dive in and LinkedIn is certainly a great place to find those folks, but don't think you've got to do hours and hours a week. It's like 15 minutes, 2 to 3 days a week of this stuff. And we really got to lean into how to get to a win-win, because obviously we kind of as humans naturally fear rejection. So I don't want you to think you have to go show up and get a whole bunch of no's, like people aren't going to want to work with you. So that's why we want to make sure when we're reaching out and crafting our messaging that it's very much so synergistic, win-win, not a high ask for them. So it's not like, hey, come join our 28-day program. It's like, hey, I would love to know what your clients do for fitness, right? Like it's very much so more versatile than just giving them your offer. So be more flexible there. And then I think one thing that has really helped me in the past, like even decade in sales, is a framework that is, I call it the sales activity scoreboard. And I'll share that with you all today. Again, on Zoom, I think you can see it. StreamYard, I'm not sure if it'll come through, and I'm going to make sure I link this up in the recording for everybody. But this is really just what I think of as like what I'm on the hook for each and every week. So this is an old example where we have our KPIs, that's our key performance indicators. We want to look at sales, appointments set, appointments shown, new clients, lead gen workshops. So one thing for me is lead gen workshops that I was working on here, and then monthly recurring revenue increase. So these things are all really solid to track. Revenue or sales can be overall. Like if you want to make 10 grand a month, well, then you got to do 2,500 a week, right? We're looking at that weekly number. Appointment set, if you want one new client a week, you're probably going to need to set 5 appointments because 3 of them are likely going to show up, not all 5. So just really think about that as you're building this out. And again, this is a framework. This is something that I've used. It doesn't have to be this in depth when you do yours. You can certainly chop this down a few, like say you're not doing the workshops, and yeah, the only thing you could probably remove is the workshops because I think those other ones are crucial. The behaviors to get those are really flexible though. So this depends on your bandwidth, your business, and what you're working on currently. I'm gonna see if I can share this in the StreamYard too. That way you all can grab it. Just please make sure anyone using this, just make a copy. That way it doesn't interfere. I don't know if I have a chat here in StreamYard, so I might not be able to do that. But no worries. So what I'll do is I'll make sure this goes out in the recording, but the activity down at the bottom, really customize it to you. It doesn't need to be this in depth. So mine is a newsletter. I do one to fitness professionals and to realtors. Client services, I'm working to do 30 clients a week. So that's what I'm tracking there. Social posts, one a day. Email outreach, 20 per week. Email outreach is a lot of stuff that we talked about that we'll be doing with those partners we identified. I used to have video follow-up messages. So let's say you met someone and then there was something personal you want to follow up on, you can jump on here and do that via video. And then networking events, same thing, like if they can be on or off. Referrals asked for, those are big because again, I think we get referrals, we're just not actively pursuing them enough. Referrals received, those are good to track because you can send a thank you. I know one thing that worked really well for me when I first started my online business was sending out like personalized thank yous. So say someone introduced me to their spouse and we worked together, then I would send them like a special gift of something I knew they like, a book, a Lego set, something that resonates with them. Referrals given, it's good to give referrals as well. Business partners contacted, that one's huge. Like I cannot stress that enough. As we are working with our list of those influential businesses in our community, we really need to make sure we're also tracking that. So for me, I have a pipeline set up in our Go High Level software where it's like referral partners and it's got a few different stages, and every month I'm making sure that I'm reaching out to them. And it's not just like, hey, can you send me some business? It's like, hey, what are you all working on this quarter? I'm doing X, Y, and Z training. Would that be helpful? Things like that. So I would really recommend staying top of mind to those relationships. And then handwritten notes are great too, especially for referrals. Personal development, education. I keep this on here that way I'm constantly learning. And then content creation and writing. doing that every day to make sure you're getting this stuff works too. But again, I would chop this down in the sense of your bandwidth. So say you don't have like a newsletter going on, no problem, remove that for now. Um, you don't want to do social posts, no problem. Email outreach, I think, is crucial. Referrals asked, received, given, I think crucial. Business partners contacted, I think crucial. And then same handwritten notes, like that could be something you batch once a month, but really lean into these behaviors. That way we can drive the scorecard up here. So real quick, just back to this second spreadsheet. This is where we're going to track our relationships, and I did one for cold and one for warm. So warm is like people that already know you. You could text them today and probably jump on the phone this week. Um, that would start there. Start with your warm network and warm relationships. And same with individuals. So like relationships here, let's say there are groups outside of this, like if you want to do speaking at events, maybe there's a speakers bureau. If you're trying to do athlete training and development, there are likely club teams that you could, offer a workshop for, that type of thing. And then notes is a little bit about that. That way, when you go back here, you can remember it, and then just your next steps. And then same with individuals, list them out, list them out. And these are people that are influential that could potentially like introduce you to a speaking opportunity or introduce your services to a bigger group. Or they are people that really are past clients, relationships you want to reactivate that are important to your business. And then nothing changes on the cold tab, just that relationship. So these are going to take longer to develop. These are like groups you need to introduce yourself to. So, an example in my world, I do a bunch of, when I say a bunch, I have like four scheduled for this month, but they are LinkedIn and AI training workshops for realtors. And I'm doing them at title agent offices because title agencies really like to work with realtors that are selling houses. So I have a warm list of people, and that's how I booked the four for January. Now I've got to work on February, and I've got to work on my cold list because my warm list has already been exhausted. So start on the warm list. Once you've worked through that, get to the cold list, and that's where you're kind of like building future activity with. And really, again, what I want to leave you all with is like don't get hung up on you don't have time. Like make these things like home tabs. Like you can see here on my screen, I've got a ton of things saved here, like my scorecard, goal achievement sheet. These are things that I go to each and every week to make sure that I'm staying on track. So make these things like home on your home screen, get organized with it, and certainly stay consistent there. And then I'll make sure, so I'll get this out to you all. A couple things you can do here. This is that activity scoreboard. So again, make a copy. I'll make a note here, make a copy and customize for you. And then same with the outbound list. Please make a copy because I'll be using these as well. And then as far as the scripts and stuff, like I know we didn't spend a ton of time on that today. I do have a really cool system that if you want to check out this link, it's basically like done for you templated referral partner lead generation. Basically, what we just went through, it's got the lead tracker sheet a little more in depth, in all your scripts. So if it's like local business for speaking, personal training, like all those scripts are in there. So you can grab that if you'd like. And then we've got some cool ways to do this for you too. So, if you're any interested in help, I'll leave my email in the recording as well as here on the live. But email me LinkedIn Sprint at drew@teamupaz.com, and we can certainly chat through how we can just help you expedite this process. I like to use LinkedIn because we can find those referral partners very simply. Like if we're working with a cold list, and if there are warm people and they are professionals, it's pretty unique how you can stay top of mind with them on that platform. So if you'd like some help where you're like, I don't have time to dive in, send me an email. I'll share how we can help and get you connected there. So Well, thanks for checking out this training. Again, there will be the sales activity scoreboard, the outbound list, and then these follow-up resources here linked in the recording. And yeah, feel free to send me any type of questions that come up. And I would really recommend, get these blocks on your calendar to do this stuff just as you would a client session, and you'll be plugging away in no time. Well, thanks again. I will look forward to getting out this recording to you all, and we'll talk soon, okay?